Hi, my name is Emily Monroe. I'm a business student working full-time in New Hampshire as a manufacturing engineer. I'm also 5 months pregnant. This may be a surprise to you, but it would certainly be more obvious if I was on campus. My husband and I found out a month ago that we're having a baby boy, and ever since then we've been debating what to name this kid. We aren't big fans of the movement in the USA to name children something completely unique or to spell something normal in a strange way. Though we tend to like traditional names, we don't want our child to share the same name with 5 other boys in future classes or jobs. So what do? I consulted the data, of course. The Social Security Administration publishes the top baby names by gender and state, so I went to Tableau for some analysis in the hopes that we might learn some trends and some names to avoid. Before diving in, I wanted to know if the data is biased by population in the United States. We added 2 more states over the last century, and the population distribution has changed significantly. A quick look at the data shows that there are basically equal responses across all states since the 1920s. But within that data, each state submitted the count of the number of occurrences of their top boy name and girl name each year. I will stick with this data, showing the count, and look only at baby boy names for my analysis. I grouped the baby boy names into 4 different categories: biblical, traditional, modern, and other. By far the most popular are biblical and traditional, although this graph shows that it's changed over time. We can see the baby boom was the peak of the biblical and traditional names back in the 1940s into the 1950s, and the biblical names have decreased over time, while the other category and modern category of names are increasing. By far the most popular baby boy name is Michael. To me, this is enlightening because it confirms that I already know I'm not going to name my child Michael. And it's a true story. There are 2 different guys at my work named Michael A. Smith among all of the other Michaels that I work with. Definitely don't want my child to have to compete with someone else or use their full name. If you look at the data over time in Gantt chart form, you can see trends with specific names. For example, the number 1 name Michael was not always the number 1. And you can see the emergence of modern names as well as some traditional names like William that are becoming more popular recently. To explore trends by state, this map and filter allows me to select the data that I'm interested in and watch for trends. For example, if I wanted to look at biblical names, this is all of the biblical names showing David and Michael are both very popular. But if I look at the data by decade, this shows the change in trend over time. David became popular and then decreased. Jacob and James became popular and then have decreased, and now Jacob is once again very popular throughout the United States. There's a lot of information in baby name data that could be explored further. Are there some trends in modern baby names that could be pulled out with other data sets? What about the other category? Since this is just an exploratory data dive, I won't go any further than this. I will say, I think this is a really interesting way to look at baby boy names, and I also learned that for sure I'm not going to name my son Michael. Thank you very much.